Morning, students. Today we are going to begin with the class Brapsida of the division Braphyta. डिवीजन ब्राफाइटा की जो क्लास ब्रैप्सिडा है, ये लास्ट क्लास है ब्रैफाइटा की, और इसमें जो जीनस स्फेग्नम है आपके कोर्स में प्रिस्क्राइब्ड है, इसको हम डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे। ये टॉपिक MSc सेम 1 बॉटनी के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए है। सो let us begin with the systematic position. क्लासिफिकेशन हम लोग देख चुके हैं ब्रैप्फाइटा की। तो ये जो क्लास है ब्रैप्सिडा, इट इज़ वन ऑफ द लार्जेस्ट ग्रुप ऑफ ब्रैफाइट्स which includes 660 genera and 14,500 species which are cosmopolitan. कुछ एक स्पीशीज़ इसकी ट्रॉपिकल फॉरेस्ट में पाई जाती हैं। टॉर्चुला डिजर्टोरियम ये अकर करती है इन द डेजर्ट्स ऑफ ट्रांसकेपिया। कुछ एक स्पीशीज़ इसकी सेप्रोफाइट्स हैं, एग्जाम्पल बॉक्सपॉमिया। क्लास ब्रैप्सिडा की कुछ जनरल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स के फॉर्म में हम देख सकते हैं कि इसका जो गमीटोफाइट है ये रिप्रेजेंट करता है दो ग्रोथ स्टेजेस। एक तो प्रोटोनिमल स्टेज जो कि जुवेनाइल स्टेज है, और ये प्रोस्टेट क्रीपिंग ग्रीन और ब्रांच फिलामेंटस स्ट्रक्चर के फॉर्म में पाई जाती है। और दूसरी जो स्टेज है इसकी लीफी स्टेज, या इसको हम गमीटोफोर भी कहते हैं, ये इरेक्ट सिलेंड्रिकल शूट विथ परसिस्टेंट लीव्स एंड सेक्स ऑर्गन्स के फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट होती है। नाउ द class Brapsida is divided into 3 orders: Sphagnales, Andriales and Bryles. क्लास ब्रैप्सिडा सब क्लासेस में भी डिवाइडेड है। रीमर्स ने 5 सब क्लासेस प्रिस्क्राइब की थी। एक तो स्फेग्निडे, सब क्लास एंड्रीडिए, सब क्लास ब्राइडिए, सब क्लास बॉक्सपॉमिडे and subclass Polytrachidae. We will only focus on the subclass Sphagnidae. The subclass Sphagnidae या Sphagnoblea भी हम इसे कह सकते हैं. It is considered to be one of the most primitive subclass of Brapsida, and this subclass has only one order, Sphagnales, with a single monotypic family, Sphagnaceae. Economic importance of Sphagnum. Sphagnum जो है इकोनॉमिकली और इकोलॉजिकली बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है. आप इसके बारे में BSc में भी पढ़ चुके हैं, लेकिन आज हम इसको थोड़ा सा डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे. Now, what is the economic importance of sphagnum? Sphagnum plants are most important among braphites on account of their remarkable power to absorb and retain water like a sponge. It is extensively used in nurseries. It is also used in seed beds, greenhouses, to root cuttings and graftings, and it is also used in packing seedlings, etc. The plants of sphagnum, being soft, are also used as general packing material for glasswares and other such articles. Sphagnum shows slightly antiseptic property, and secondly, it is highly absorptive in nature. So these two qualities, the antiseptic quality or the property and the absorptive property of sphagnum. These plants were used in place of surgical cotton in World War I. Now, what is the ecological significance? The peat formed by sphagnum is used as fuel. Peat is a potential source of coal. Sphagnum has a great ecological importance. It serves as pioneers in the reclamation of vast sheets of water, and along with a few angiosperms, they turn the vast sheets of water into a habitat land. In the initial stage, the sphagnum plants they form quaking bogs over the surface of water. स्टार्टिंग में ये बॉक्स के फॉर्म में, शीट्स के वाटर के फॉर्म में ये ग्रो करते हैं, एंड फाइनली these bogs are converted into swamps capable of supporting relatively large trees. Now, what are the affinities of sphagnum? Sphagnum occupies a unique position among bryophytes. It has several features similar to Hepaticopsida, Anthocerotopsida, and Brapsida. And it also has its own individual characteristics. So we can say sphagnum, it stands in between Anthocerotopsida and Brapsida. Now, some of the characteristics which are peculiar to sphagnum itself are: the rhizoids are absent in adult gametophyte. The branches arise in tufts from the axil of every fourth leaf. The leaves lack midrib. The hyaline cortical cells surrounded the inner tissue. There are two special types of leaves present in the plants. The plants are hygroscopic and hydrophytes, and certain xerophytic characteristics are present in sphagnum. The xerophytic characters are: it grows in a habitat of compactness. The leaves are closely imbricated on branches, and reservoirs are present for the storage of water. Now, some of the features which it shares with the members of Hepaticopsida are: sphagnum it resembles more closely to the members of Jungamanils. कुछ एक जो characteristics हैं Hepaticopsida, particularly Jungamanils को resemble करता है sphagnum. कुछ एक features जो resemble हो रहे हैं: the thalloid protonema resembles the juvenile stage of some acrogamous Jungamanils. The thallus in both the cases grow by the activity of two-sided cell. Example, Metz xeriopsis. The antheridium of sphagnum resembles with that of Porella in position. The archegonium resembles to that of acrogamous Jungamanils in position, origin, and development. There is no differentiation of apical cell in the development of secondary archegonia. The spore on germination gives rise to a thalloid protonema. The presence of rudimentary stomata on the capsule wall is similar to that of Jungamanils. Now, the features which it shares with Anthocerotopsida: the sporogonia of sphagnum and members of Anthocerotales, they show the following characteristics. इनका जो गमीटोफिटिक जनरेशन नहीं रिजेंबल हो रहा है स्फेग्नम का Anthocerotopsida के मेंबर्स से. The sporogonium it resembles to the members of the Anthocerotopsida. The archisporium develops from the amphithecium. Anthoceros भी या नोटोथैलस जब हमने पढ़ा था तब भी आर्चिस्पोरियम डेवलप हो रहा था एम्फीथीशियम से. The whole endothecium changes into columella, जो कि आपने नोटोथैलस में भी देखा था. The capsule body has several chlorophyllous cells. सीटा इज rudimentary, लेकिन नोरोथैलस में आपने देखा था जो सीटा है वो कन्वर्ट हो रहा था मेरिस्टेमेटिक जोन में. यहाँ पर ऐसा नहीं है. द फुट इज bulbous and the apical growth is absent. Now, the characteristics or features which are shared with the members of Brapsida. The gametophytes are upright and leafy. Rhizoids are obliquely septate. The stem, leaves and sex organs developed by the activity of the apical cell. The archegonia are provided with a stalk and a massive venter. The capsule dehisces by a definite operculum. Elaters are not formed with spores. So these are some of the characteristics or the affinities of sphagnum. Now we come to the main genus, the sphagnum. Sphagnum is cosmopolitan genus and it has more about 342 species. Sphagnum is commonly called as the bog moss or peat moss or turf moss because of its general habitat. तो स्फेग्नम को हम कॉमनली बॉग मॉस भी कह सकते हैं, पीट मॉस या टर्फ मॉस भी कह सकते हैं. स्फेग्नम एक पेरिनियल ब्रायोफाइट है and it grows continues year after year. The older portion undergo death but do not disintegrate due to secretion of acid that accounts for the antibacterial and antifungal action. The increasing mass of dead remains accumulate year after year and forms a compact dark colored mass which is rich in carbon. So it is also called as the peat moss. ये जो डायग्राम आप देख रहे हैं ए, आप देख रहे हैं कि जो इसका पोस्टीरियर एंड है ये डीके होता जाता है और ये एक्यूमुलेट होता जाता है ईयर आफ्टर ईयर और ये एक कॉम्पैक्ट डार्क कलर्ड मास बनाता है जो कि कार्बन में रिच होता है, इसलिए कोयला प्राप्त होता है जिससे कि इसका नाम पीट मॉस है. Now what are the external features? ये जो A is showing the pattern of growth and B a portion enlarged showing the types of branching. The external features या adult gametophyte की जो characteristics हैं, the plant body consists of upright stem, leaves and lateral leafy branches. The stem may be a few inches or several feet long. Adult plants में rhizoids नहीं present होते हैं. The stem is quite weak. The stem branches extensively on the lateral sides. Single or tuft of branches arise from the axil of every fourth leaf of the stem. आप देखते हैं ये जो B figure है. The branches at the apex of stem are shorter, stumpy, of limited growth and clustered into a compact conspicuous head called coma. ये आप देख रहे हैं कि एंटीरियर एंड पे ये जो ब्रांचेस हैं ये कॉम्पैक्ट हो जाती हैं और इसको कोमा कहते हैं. कोमा is formed due to reduced growth of internodes between the branch tufts, but as the stem grows in length, these short branches elongate and become normal branches. इसके जो submerged plants हैं, they all have branches similar in form and structure, but the plants growing in semi-aquatic habitat, जो सेमी एक्वेटिक हैबिटेट में प्लांट्स ग्रो करते हैं, इनमें दो तरह की ब्रांचेस पाई जाती हैं जो कि हर फोर्थ लीफ के एक्सिल से अराइज होती हैं. द टू ब्रांचेस विच यू कैन सी इन फिगर बी आर द पेंडेंट ब्रांचेस. दे आर लॉन्ग, स्लेंडर, लूजली अरेंज्ड, drooping and are directed below. They usually run parallel to the main axis and act as water conductors. They are also called as flagelliform, drooping or decurrent branches. The second are the divergent branches. These branches are directed outwards or upwards and may be short or stout as compared to the drooping or the pendant branches. They are called as the excurrent branches. Now, ये आप देख रहे हैं एक जो स्फेग्नम का प्लांट है, इसमें आप देख रहे हैं कि जो गमीटोफाइट है इसमें स्टेम में लीव्स पाए जा रहे हैं। दो तरह के ब्रांचेस हैं, पेंडेंट ब्रांचेस और स्प्रेडिंग ब्रांचेस। इसका जो एंटीरियर एंड है, ब्रांचेस कॉम्पैक्टली अरेंज रहती हैं जिसको कि हम कैपिटुलम कहते हैं, और उसके ऊपर स्पोरोफाइट प्रेजेंट रहता है। लीफ का जो सरफेस व्यू है, आप देख रहे हैं कि इसमें दो तरह के सेल्स पाए जाते हैं, एक तो ग्रीन क्लोरोफिलस सेल्स और एक एम्प्टी हाइलाइन सेल्स। नाउ वी कम टू द internal characteristics of the stem. Main stem is usually differentiated into three distinct regions. The outer cortex, which is more than one cell in thick and consists of thin-walled hyaline spongy cells capable of water storage. The cortex, which is followed by a few layers of prosencymatous cells with thickened walls and a central core of thin-walled cells forming pit-like storage region. ये फिगर ए में आप देख पा रहे हैं कि 3 जोन्स में डिवाइडेड है इसका जो स्टेम है, कॉर्टेक्स, प्रोजेनकाइमेटस सेल्स और कंडक्टिंग जोन. The branches have one cell layer thickened cortex. कुछ species such as molluscum, they have some cortical cells which are elongated into conspicuous structure like a bottle with a curved neck. Such cells are called retort cells. They have a distinct apical pore. ये फिगर सी में आप देखते हैं कुछ एक जो इसके सेल्स हैं ब्रांचेस में, ये मॉडिफाई हो जाते हैं, कॉर्टिकल सेल्स मॉडिफाई हो जाते हैं इलोंगेटेड कंस्पिकुअस बॉटल लाइक स्ट्रक्चर में जिनमें कि कर्व्ड नेक होता है. ये रिटोट सेल्स कहलाते हैं एंड दे हैव अ वाटर रिटेनिंग कैपेसिटी. द लीव्स आर कैरेक्टरिस्टिक एंड डिस्टिंक्टिव. They are unistratus and without midrib. The leaves on the main stem of semi-aquatic species are short, thin and scale-like, and they often lack pores and thickness on their hyaline cells. But submerged species have no different structure and form the leaves on branches. Each leaf has, you can just have a look at the surface view of the leaf. Each leaf has 2 types of cells which are regularly arranged: the narrow and elongated chlorophyllous cells with numerous discoid chloroplasts and the polygonal large hyaline cells with thickened bands and pores. The water retention capacity is performed by leaves. They form the function of absorption, retention and conduction of water. The cortical cells of stem and branches and the hyaline cells of leaves absorb water. They have exceptionally high capacity of retaining the water. The water is absorbed directly by these specialized cells by the capillary action, that like of a sponge, facilitated by the presence of spores. Due to the presence of these capillary cells on both stem and leaves, the plant as a whole acts as a capillary apparatus conducting the water quite swiftly. The example of the mechanism of absorption and conduction is comparable to that of blotting papers. So, sphagnum has a highly water retaining कैपेसिटी। जैसे जिस तरह इसकी ब्लॉटिंग पेपर स्विफ्टली एब्जॉर्ब करता है वाटर, इसी तरह से इसके जो स्टेम और लीव्स में जो सेल्स पाए जाते हैं, इन दे हैव अ हाईली वाटर रिटेनिंग, absorbing and retaining capacity. Now, the apical cell and the apical growth. Sphagnum की growth कैसे होती है? The apical cell is characteristically pyramidal in nature. Pyramidal like होता है, having 3 cutting faces or segments. These cells divide along its each segment periclinally into an outer and an inner cell. The outer cell develops into a two-sided leaf initial cell and forms the stem cortex. The inner cell forms the central tissue of the stem. As a result, the newly formed young leaves become arranged in 3 rows. With the advance in the growth, this arrangement gets modified into a more complex one due to the displacement of leaves. The typical arrangement of leaves in a leaf is the result of regular segmentation of two-sided leaf initial. The apical cell cuts off segment right and left in a regular manner. All the cells at this stage are alike. Soon a cell both at right and left divides transversely into an upper narrow cell and a lower larger cell. The larger cell divides again into a narrow lateral cell and a larger cell towards the right or left margin of the leaf. These two narrow cells form the chlorophyllous cells, and the larger cell develops into the hyaline cell by losing the cytoplasm and chloroplast. So, this is all about the external and internal morphology of sphagnum. Now in our next lecture we will be taking up with the reproduction of sphagnum. Thank you.